Okay, so now we're going to cover the while loop.
The while loop, one of the most important concepts in computer programming is the loop.
Yes. So this is our first endeavor into the loop concept. So basically what it is, a loop is a chunk of code that just gets executed over and over and over and over.
Right, like the if statement is just checking if a single condition is true. Right now we're going to go over the while statement, the while control structure. So instead of checking if a condition is true, it's going to do something while a condition is true. So this could be repeated infinite amount of times.
Right.
Okay?
But that might be bad.
That might be bad. So the first thing we're going to do before anything else is we're going to demonstrate an infinite loop and how easy it is to get caught up in one of these. And then we're going to go over the concept of a counter, which is what integers are really, really good for. So int x equals 0. Fair enough?
Yep.
Now here is the syntax of a while loop. We're going to do while, and then we're going to have parentheses.
For our condition.
Right, and just like the if statement, it doesn't have to have code below it, but it's nice to have that block of code. While we're on this topic, since we didn't mention it in the if statement, if you don't have a block of code, which as you know, is this, what the while statement will do is it will execute, and the if statement does this as well, it will execute the single line directly below it.
And only that line.
Right. So if I just left it alone like this, and I did while x equals 0, what's going to happen? We could take a look at this, and we could see that it's going to execute the next line below it, which is white space, which it will ignore. White space, it will ignore. It's going to run this one.
Infinitely.
Infinitely. So let's do this. F9, we'll call this while. Press enter to continue. Press enter to continue. It will never, ever stop doing this.
Yep.
And the reason why... Close. The reason why is we set x equal to 0, and there's no changing of x. So
right, so it'll always be equal to 0.
Yes. So we've created the infamous infinite loop.
Yep.
So we can create a little block of code here to change x. So what if we did something silly like cout hello \n, and then we changed x equals 1, what's going to happen?
So it's going to go through, x initially is 0, so it's going to meet the condition, and it's going to start going through. So it's going to output hello, it's going to change x to 1, and it's going to start over.
Right.
It's going to check x again, but now x is not equal to 0, so it's going to stop.
It's going to go to the next line below it.
Right.
Run this real quick. Hello, over.
Cool.
All right. So let's do something a little bit more exciting, a little bit more interactive here. Let's erase this and leave it all blank. I'm going to erase this just to skip one extra step. Cout, enter a number. So this person is going to dynamically initialize the counter.
Right.
So cin x.
And basically what a counter is a counter is just how many times you've run through a loop.
Right.
Basically.
And we'll demonstrate that right now. So the users, let's just going to say they enter 5. While x, and we're going to introduce another operator here, the not equal.
So bang is equal to not, or the exclamation point is equal to not.
Yep, shift 1. So what we're saying here is while x does not equal 0, execute.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show the user the value of x at the time the loop is ran. So we're going to execute x. Now, of course, if we didn't change the value of x, this would be another one of those beautiful infinite loops. Enter a number 5. It's just going to write 5 forever.
Right.
So in order to change this, what do we have to do?
A new value. So let's say for this example, we'll just decrease the value by 1 every time it runs through the loop.
There's a couple ways to do this. There's two main ways. The old school way of doing it is x equals x minus 1. So what this does is the value of x here is not going to be changed. I'm sorry. The value of x here does not affect this value of x here. What this is saying is assign x whatever is to the right of it.
Right.
So it takes the current value of x, which is, let's say they enter 5, it'll equal 5. It subtracts 1, now x equals 4. So this value here will equal 4, therefore x will equal 4.
Right. It'll store it back into x is 4.
Right. So we can show you, you can see, I promise you it will. I've been programming for quite a while. I've done this many, many times. But there's a more beautiful way to do this, and that is what?
X minus minus.
Minus minus.
And if you want to, this will decrease the value by 1. If you want to increase the value of 1, x plus plus.
And we'll do both of them. Why not? So we'll do x minus minus first. So what this is going to do is it's going to, here, if it does not equal 0, execute. It will print it out, decrease it, come to the end of the block, retest the condition. If it's true, do it again. If it's false, get out.
Right.
Let's run it. So we will do our example of 5 again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Break.
Out. Good deal. Now let's just test to see how good our computer is. 5,000. There she goes. Oh,
nice.
That was very nice. All right. So we saw these simple dealy. All right. So now we're gonna make this the opposite. So enter a number. The person's gonna enter x, and what we're going to do is, while
x is less than 100.
Okay.
And instead of decreasing x, we'll increment x.
All right.
So that x will keep growing until it exceeds 100, and then we'll jump out of the loop.
Okay, so we'll see out x plus plus.
So this will add 1 every time we pass through the loop.
So if we do 5, we're going to start from 5 and go to 100.
Right.
There. Now let's really mess with our computer. Negative 999. It's gonna add 1 to it, so it's gonna go negative 999 to negative 998, 997, 996, 994, all the way to 0. Right. It's gonna hit 0 and go to 100.
Right. There we go.
Hey, well actually, we don't have less than or equal to, so it doesn't go to 100. It stops at 100.
Right.
So when it hits 99, it will stop. So if we could make it say 100 by doing our little equal sign right there.
Right. So, but just basically, you can do while loops inside of while loops instead of while loops.
Yeah. Let's just do something real fast. While x is less than 10, and then we'll do while, let's make a y value.
Okay. Well, and we could just,
int y.
Y is equal to, we don't have to have them enter y. We could just say y equals x plus 5. Okay.
All right. So we're taking the value they put in and we're adding 5 to it. So while y is not equal to 0, cout y, and then so inside this, and actually, as we already discussed, I don't need to have this block. So what this is going to do is, inside of this while loop, what is this here for? That can go, right? Inside this while loop, it's going to check to see if it's less than 10, and then it's going to output this while y does not equal 0. And almost got myself into an infinite loop. I do need this.
And so
y minus minus, and then increment 10, increment x. Right?
Right. Now let's try this. Let's do. Well, yeah. Want to
run
let's
this
try
first?
compile this and see how it runs.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now let's try this.
I'm gonna try a higher number. 100. Oh, that's right. Because it has to be less than 10. Yeah, so it just starts at 15 because we added 5 to it and drops it down.
Way down.